I got some secrets that I got to tell you tonight. Yes, a lot of secrets. Maybe not the secrets that you're thinking that you need to be here or you want to hear, but nevertheless secrets. Like, for an example, just because it's on Tiger droppings, just because it is on someone who has 50 followers on Twitter, doesn't make it realistically true. Doesn't make it not true either. Tonight, we're going to go through the hot board update, the things that everybody wants to know. What are you hearing? What do you think? As I got to be real with you, I do think that this weekend shared a lot of clarity. The clarity comes with what is anticipated on how LSU is going to proceed moving forward. Tomorrow, Tuesday, November the 4th, starts the process of what ultimately will be not only a new regime change, but a new era of where you're wanting to go here. What the direction of your program starts at a press conference tomorrow. Well, Blake, what are you talking about? Well, a new president will be on board. And when that is announced, and I think we all pretty much know who and when and where, it's all pretty much been laid out here of how things may go. Tomorrow starts what ultimately will be a 25-day window at minimum of who the next head coach of LSU is going to be. Tonight, we're going to talk about that and break that down. Things that I've heard during the entire weekend. Light that was shed, and the things that you should expect to come. Now, as an LSU fan, quite frankly, you've been through a lot in the last week. The last week has been the longest. This past week has probably been one of the longer ones as an LSU fan that you've had to endure. And I'm not going to be the one to come out here and tell you it's going to be okay. I think it's naive for some to say, hey, man, everything's going to be okay. You don't know that. You anticipate it. That's okay. That is okay. We very well may be okay. Tomorrow starts a new dynasty of where LSU as an entire university is going to be and where they're going to go with your next head coach. All of these rumors right now are rumors because here's the ultimate truth. LSU doesn't know. So your uncle, your grandmammy, your grandpappy, the guy that you talk to at the water cooler, the guy you see at lunch, your old high school buddy, they don't know. My uncle, who's really good friends with name the board of supervisor. Call your uncle right now. Who's the board of supervisor that he's close with? Name him. You've been through a lot. We're going to talk about and break down how this thing's going to go. It is LSU Alabama week. We are talking football here. Like it, love it, or hate it, we are talking about it. Frank Wilson met with the media today. What do I expect coming from LSU this week? From just the football side of things, we'll start breaking that down. We'll also talk about some advantages that you do have here and things that, listen, you can go into Tuscaloosa and make this one a pretty damn good football game. Blake, there's no way we're getting slaughtered. You very well may go in there and get slaughtered, but Alabama's not invincible. They're not invincible. You can go in there to do some good things if you do the right things. Quite honestly, guys, do you have any idea what to expect from this team from an offensive side of things? I don't think anybody does. I don't think Frank Wilson or Alex Atkins does. Do you make a change at quarterback? Those are all questions that we'll talk about here tonight. So, jam-packed show. Frank Wilson met with the media. What we should expect. We'll start breaking down that LSU and Bama game in the hot board update. as it comes on. And you know what we do every single time that we don't have guests here. You know that we'll get to thoughts, questions, and concerns here. Drew sends in a $9 super chat. Drew, I didn't see you putting in any other comment here. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I did not see it. So, Drew, did you have a comment? Let's see if we can go down and find Drew's comment here. He did become a new member as well. Thank you so much, Drew. But, Drew, did you put in a comment? If you do have something, we'll try to get to it here. But thank you for becoming a member on the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. We also greatly appreciate the super chat that you sent to us here. If you want to become a member, on Wednesdays, we publish some members-only content. Went over the 250 mark of members on the YouTube channel. We're going to continue to grow that and continue to put out some members-only content. So thank you so much for both of it. Ray Watt, 79, also became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, good sir. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. We'll have some more content out for you in the next couple of days here. Vance Collins says, go Tigers from the 985. Good to have you in here, Vance. Yes, where is everybody listening to us from tonight? Are you in the 225? Where at in the 225? The 985, where are you at? The 22, I said the 225, the 337, the 504, the 318. Where are you listening to us from tonight? Stephen Fry, good friends over at Fry Construction, Eunice, Louisiana, stand up, sends in the 337 is up in the building, baby. Tell us the good stuff, Dr. Ruffino. Well, I did get my doctorate in ciphering through bullshit. We'll cipher through some of that bullshit here tonight. But our good friends over at Fry Construction, dirt work, oil and gas services, land work, they do it all. Give our good friends over at Fry Construction a call today because they literally, I don't think that there's anything Stephen and the boys can't do. That's what the streets be telling me. But we're going to talk about a lot here tonight. That is for sure, Stephen. Penn Jones with a $5 super chat says 2 upsets this week. LSU beats Bama and Mississippi State beats Georgia. Boy, that would throw a wrench in a lot of things in the SEC, would it not? Would it not? That would be crazy, Penn. Mississippi State, man, holding off to beat Arkansas last week. How about them Bulldogs? That would be insane. That would be insane. Legendary CEO with a $10 super chat hit says, here's a comment for Drew. Well, I appreciate both of you for sending in those super chats. Thank you so much. Yes, Drew, what do you want to say here? But thank you for both being members on the YouTube channel. Lucas with a $2 super chat says LSU will beat them Tide this Saturday night. Man, I hope that they do. And the real question becomes, if they go into Tuscaloosa and they beat Alabama, God forbid they run the table here, what is the status of Frank Wilson? You know, he's been asked multiple times about becoming the next full-time permanent head coach of LSU, and he's kind of avoided the question. Frank, do you want the job? Because if you want the job, just say that you want the job, my guy. There's nothing wrong in saying that you want the job. I understand it. I get it. But there's nobody that grew up in this great state that loves LSU that wouldn't want to be the head coach of LSU. I mean, it's just the truth. We all know that. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Frank needs to go out there. If he wants it, go say it. But the way that you do it is by action. You got to go out there and beat Alabama on Saturday night. Chris became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Chris. Y'all keep subbing. We'll do more members-only content. We'll get it to 2 or 3 days a week if y'all keep doing. If we get to 500, we'll do 3 or 4 days a week. I promise you that. But we got to get to that 500 mark first. But Chris, thank you so much for becoming a member on the YouTube channel. All right, let's get moving here. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Every episode of AYS Sports is brought to you by our good friends and partners over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. Use your Android, Apple, iPhone, whatever you have. The FD Sportsbook app will be there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere like ABC did YouTube TV this past week, which was absolutely bonkers. Oh, my gosh. I don't even have Quad Box anymore. It's completely hurtful. But one person and one business that I can constantly rely on is our good friends over at FanDuel. We're gladly partnered and powered by good friends over at FanDuel for this football season. We're glad that they've joined us in this journey. For any thoughts, questions, concerns, go to fanduel.com/RG for more details. And by the way, I had somebody ask me the other day, what does RG stand for? It stands for reliable gambling. So guys, I put on like filters for my FanDuel account, right? Like there are filters all over the place for me on my FanDuel account. Like, hey man, if I'm spending too much, which I don't, I personally don't get there, but guys, go have fun. And FanDuel is the most reliable place to do that. So you don't go up and spend much more money than you need to. That is why we partner with FanDuel. And guys, quite frankly, they have the same values that we do. And that's why we're a partner with our good friends over at FanDuel. And we're so glad to be partnered with them. But they are going to power AYS for this entire football season and for this entire coaching search. That is for sure. So everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. We greatly appreciate it. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we got lots to discuss. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick. We're back. All right. Let's get moving here. We got lots to discuss. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says Kelvin Shepard would keep the staff needed and rehire Moffitt. You have no idea if he can rehire Moffitt. He might be okay with staying at A&M, especially if they win a national title this year or get deep into the playoffs. You can't just assume that he would come back just because for a former player. Relates to today's youth. You've never seen him recruit. You don't know if he relates to today's youth and will be an NFL head coach in 2 years. That he very well may be. Or less if LSU doesn't hire him. Here's the thing with Kelvin Shepard. I know that a lot of the former players are calling for him to be the head coach. Guys, I have my concerns there. I massively have my concerns. How does he orchestrate a staff? It's different in the NFL because orchestrating a staff in college has so many other things and layers that come down to it. When you hire a staff in the NFL, you don't have to worry about them recruiting. You don't. Like, everybody goes, well, it's all about the money. It's all about this. It's all about that. Yeah, that's true. But they still have to recruit. They have to identify and scout. Those guys in the NFL aren't scouting on a day-in, day-out basis. They're not recruiting on a day-in, day-out basis. Guys, if you're going to go with someone like that that's got LSU ties, why wouldn't you keep Frank Wilson? That's the question. This Kelvin Shepard thing is because he played here. He has no head coaching experience. You don't know how he would do and what he would do from an offensive side of things, whether go for it on fourth down. You don't know that. He hasn't been in the college game. And, guys, by the way, he's only been a defensive coordinator for not even a whole year yet. So, I am not – the former players want him because he's one of them, and I understand that. If you're going to ask me my point of view, I don't – there's going to be a lot if Kelvin Shepherd is the next head coach of LSU football, it's going to be very worrisome for me. There's going to have to be some meddling behind the scenes. Can he raise funds? Can he do a lot of the things that needs to be done? He very well could, but you are taking a massive risk there. You are taking a risk that might not pan out. So, like, I see a lot of people pushing for Kelvin Shepherd. I'm not saying that I hate it. At the same time, you have no idea how he would orchestrate his staff, how he would do in recruiting. Those are the things, like, everybody said that, well, Blake, what about Dan Lanning? Dan Lanning legitimately was for On3, 247, and Rivals, for all three of them, was the recruiter of the year from what he did on the defensive line and linebacker alone in those positions. He had 3 years of dominating and recruiting. 3 years. He was the catalyst of what we saw in those in that national title run. And Kirby literally said that at a press conference. Like, I get it. I know a lot of you want him. I understand that. You have no idea if he relates to today's player. You have no idea. He can relate to a 24 to 35-year-old male. You're recruiting 14 to 17-year-olds. It's a massive difference. It's a massive difference. I know that there's a big push for that. At the same time, I think that needs to kind of – Kelvin he's not the top of my list at the current moment. I'd be real with you. He's not in the top 5 of my list. I know he's an LSU Tiger, and Blake, how can you say that? Frank would be on my list higher than Kelvin Shepherd, to be completely blunt with you. Mr. Terps sends a $5 super chat, says, Blake, name 3 OCs. All right, this is what we're going to do. We got a lot of super chats flying in. I got a lot I need to get to here, so this is what we're going to do. From Mr. Terps all the way down, if you want to send in super chats, great. Thank you so much. We're going to get to those at the end of the show because I don't want this show to just be a super chat related show. And so we'll get to those at the end. That way we can get to a lot of the stuff here. So let's get moving here. So I know what everybody wants to talk about, especially coming out of a weekend after Brian Kelly's been fired. I'm not going to let you wait long. So let's get into this hot board. Do us a favor and hit the like and share as we have a hot board update. What happened? What are some things that we found out during the weekend? So, look, I know that there's a lot of rumors flying around out there. There's rumors flying around about Nick Saban. There's rumors flying around about Lane Kiffin. There's rumors flying out there even about Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel, which let's just stop right there for just a moment. I'm not buying. Now, I'm not saying that LSU's not vetting Josh Heupel. I'm not saying that they won't go after him, and I'm not saying that he won't be the next head coach of LSU. What I am saying is, guys, none of this is going down the way that you're hearing on Tiger droppings. It's not. Maybe LSU can pull a rabbit out of the hat and do some of the unthinkable, but from what I understand, that is not what is happening right now. Tomorrow is going to mark a very significant day for LSU as they're going to be hiring their new president. Now, I think it's going to be Wade Rouse, the McNeese State president. It is what it is. Seems like politically that's where things are going here and who they want. That's who you want. You have the say-so in it. By all means, it's your God-given right for being voted into that office to do legally what you are appointed to do there. But this past weekend, I made a lot of phone calls, had a lot of conversations with a lot of people around the situation, and had a lot of conversations around people that aren't close to the situation at other programs to see what they're hearing and what the vibe is from some of these guys that LSU may be targeting. LSU is having discussions internally about where they want to go, and I do think that they have talked to agents. They've tried to reach out and see what the feeling is from some of these coaches around the country. I think it would be foolish and naive to think that there are not coaches that are already asking about what's going on at LSU from everything that they've seen to their agent and to people in the coaching profession. See, here's the one thing about the coaching profession that I don't think a lot of people want to discuss, nor does this get talked about when you talk about coaching searches in general. Lane Kiffin, as an example, has been in this game a long time. Kenny Dillingham's been in this game a long time. Dan Lanning's been in this game a long time. A lot of these guys have been in this game a very long time. And one thing that happens when they're in this game for a very long time, they build connections. Like, as an example, the two coordinators that you had this year were in each other's weddings. A lot of these guys who grew up and were in the thick of things as young, lowly assistants, a lot of them were on the same staffs together. And I think it would be foolish to think that these coaches aren't talking to one another behind the scenes and that gossip isn't flying everywhere and you're having to sift through some of the BS. But we got to talk about this from an LSU, as my voice breaks up here, but we need to talk about this from an LSU side of things of what I'm hearing is going on. Guys, nothing significant is going down at the current moment. And I see a lot of this, oh man, Nick's been hired. This has been going on. He's going to be the next athletic director. He very well may be the next athletic director. I don't know that. I don't think he's going to be. But LSU is waiting to get a little bit more of alignment here. Whoever the president is going to be tomorrow, I fully expect that president to be a part of this search committee. Because if you remember on Friday, when the Board of Supervisors and Verge Alsbury did a press conference, they told you who was going to be a part of the committee. And they listed all the people who would be a part of the committee. And they said there's one other person that's going to be a part of it to be announced later. So that could be the new president of the university. Very well could be. Is it going to be the new chancellor if they go that route? There's a lot of things that are moving parts here. But who is that person that's going to be on that search committee looking for their next head coach? LSU has about a 21 to 25 to 28 day window here if they go and hire somebody that's not going to be in the playoffs. So if there's a coach that's not going to be in the playoff here, they have that window, a 21 to 28 day window here, more like 25 to 28 day window here for who the next head coach is going to be. And this is how I understand it from where things are going. This is quickly and rapidly changing. So when tomorrow happens, when we come out here tomorrow for tomorrow night's show, there are already going to be things that are put in motion about where I think this thing is going to be turning. Right now, there is not. I think that LSU has candidates that they are targeting. And I think that when you heard On3 come out with the report of Dan Lanning Lanning's buyout's $20 million. He's got a $20 million buyout. It's connected to a building. And if Dan Lanning leaves, then the buyout, the school is going to have to pay the $20 million to Oregon to finish the building. It's a crazy concept. Why did that happen? How did that get out? How did that contract and negotiation get out when Dan Lanning says, no, I'm good. Yeah, because no team's going to pay $20 million in buyout money, especially if you're LSU and you're at $60 million right now, for Dan Lanning. Doesn't mean that you don't ask. And I think a lot of you adults that are in here right now probably pick up what I'm putting down. Having conversations and those things happening, well, truth starts coming out. You know, on Thursday, we talked about this, and I was asked, hey, Blake, who are some guys that you would just want to talk to? Who are some guys you'd go after? I want to see the Dan Lanning contract. I want to see him being tied to a $20 million building. Well, he is. And maybe Phil Knight learned a thing or two about when Nick Saban left. Man, if you're going to build somebody a new practice facility, maybe you want to be tied into that. But moves and conversations are being had. The direction of where they're going starts tomorrow. Because tonight and tomorrow morning, the new president of your university is going to be told that he's the new president of the university, like, love, or hate it. And the first thing that the new president has got to take care of, I know it's going to be, well, Blake, we got this, and this that we got to take care of as a university. Yeah. Cool. Sounds cute. It's not. And I don't think that they view it that way. The way that they view it is that they got to get a new head coach in here. Now, in that time, maybe Frank Wilson can make some moves. Maybe he can win out here and get his name in that lore. But I do think it's going to be, and I don't think that they're going to shy away from the money aspect of this now that whoever the president's going to be, I think LSU is going to be okay. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go away from this incentive-laden deal. Maybe the governor makes them. I don't know. But his words are his words. But the biggest thing that I have picked up on from this weekend is, and I said this a little bit on Friday, but Rouse said it today. Look, we are going to do what we need to do. But the things that I've picked up the most is big money people around this place have told the governor to calm down. Look, you got what you wanted. You got Brian Kelly out. You got Scott Woodward out. Now you need to go sit in the corner and let us take care of this because you're going to scare some people away if you don't. And I think tomorrow is going to signify something of where this is going to go. I do think Marcus Freeman's going to get a call. I do think Lane Kiffin, if he hasn't already, is going to get that call. I do think Eli Drinkwitz is going to get a call. I do think that there's going to be some coordinators on that list that are going to get calls, whether you like it, love it, or hate it. But the bottom line remains, all these rumors right now are not accurate because they don't know where they're going. They have ideas, but there's a lot of cooks in that kitchen. And everybody has a different path and avenue of where they're trying to go here. But now that you have a president who's going to have to sign off on this, by the way, the new president tomorrow is going to have to sign off on that contract of where they're going to want to go. And if you don't think that his ultimate say is his ultimate say, then you're wrong. But here's what it does do. It is going to start the alignment that you need. Now, I know Michael Cobble over at WBRZ posted a photo of Frank Wilson, Michael Bonnet, and I don't know who the other guy was, and Verge Allsbury, and says, alignment happening. That's not, he might have been being a smart ass or sarcastic. I don't know. That's not the alignment. That's not the alignment. And Verge will have his own say in this. Because I do think that they understand the position that they're in. And the governor has been asked to stay out of it because you're scaring the shit out of everybody. Because quite honestly, guys, if you talk to some of the coaches around college football, I think that they think that this has been a complete circus. Actually, let me rephrase what I just said. If you talk to coaches around the country, not at LSU, they think it's a circus. The money thing with Jeff Landry on the incentive deal is two things. Number one, I don't blame him for saying what he's saying and don't honestly disagree with him. It's not going to get the guy that you need. Quite frankly, it's not going to get any coach that's worth a damn. Because if you're just going to say there's no guaranteed money, nobody's going to accept it. And I think that the new president is going to understand that. I think the direction in the committee is going to understand that. But this place needs one centric voice of where they're going, and it starts tomorrow. It's going to start tomorrow. I think that there have been, and there has been, some unity here behind the scenes. They're like, hey, Gov, you got to back off here. You got to back off. You're scaring the shit out of everybody. Let us take it from here. And I think that it is in his best interest to stop meddling. Now, Wade Rouse, who is the front runner for the presidential opening, came out today and stated, and I quote, I think the governor will stop meddling in all of the LSU affairs when he sees and knows that LSU is being led in the right direction. First off, damn. But is that why your governor was meddling because politically he didn't like what was happening? I don't know. But if he's going to be meddling with the guys that he puts in office as he's been meddling, which, by the way, the Board of Supervisors is the people that he put in, and a couple are coming off in December, and he's got to make those appointments. Well, these are your decisions. One thing is abundantly clear to me. I see a lot of you seeing these rumors and saying, hey, is this true? Is that true? No, it's not. Because LSU doesn't have their ducks in order right now. Come tomorrow around 6 p.m., 7 p.m., things are going to start turning, and LSU's got to move quickly here. Listen, You're going up against opponents right now in this coaching carousel and this coaching search like Florida, Auburn, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Arkansas. Well, Blake, we should be able to challenge and beat all of those. And I agree. But they got to get moving, and that starts tomorrow. I feel very confident in saying these next two things. Number one, phone calls and conversations are currently happening for some top-name coaches and administrators in the sport. Those conversations are happening. Tomorrow, they start really attacking it. LSU has not attacked this the way that they want. And I see a lot of you bringing up Nick Saban. Well, Nick Saban surely did not, on College Game Day the other night, say anything, or the other day, say anything that made LSU look like it's in a positive light. So either he's doing one of two things. Maybe he is your head coach at 74 years old, and he's telling everybody to back off, or he's calling you out on the national stage, which he is. He was. Because when Desmond Howard went in on your ass, he didn't really say anything. He can look all the way he wants to look, but he didn't say a word. He went after you. But politically, I think that the governor, who didn't understand that you're in a college football playoff and not in the BCS system, in the BCS era, doesn't understand the anger that's around this place right now. Guys, there's a lot of massive, big money people, no, not like Gordon, but a lot of massive money people that are mad, that are pissed. And they want this place to succeed. As Verge said the other day on Friday, we got to be in the playoff every year. I'm not saying you got to be in it every year, but you better make it a lot. Constantly missing that thing is not this place. You have the resources, the talent availability, and everything around you to be a top 12 team very consistently. I think that they all have their choices of where they want to go. I do think some of the big names in the sport are going to get contacted very soon, and conversations behind the scenes and not officially have already started. Lane Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Kenny Dillingham, you name them. But LSU sits in a spot where they got to go for broke here, in my opinion. And I think I'm not the only person that thinks that. I don't know if the governor ultimately signs off on and gives his blessings on what LSU needs to do here, but who gives a shit? He can't stop you. He can try to stop you. He can't stop you. Board of Supervisors understand this. In reference to the athletic director, let me say this. Because there is a lot of heat right now in reference to Verge Alsbury being appointed. I don't have a problem with Verge being appointed. I don't have a problem with Verge being your overall AD if it's just between you and I. Verge, a couple of seasons ago, did get suspended for an entire year. The whole investigation behind Title IX, Verge Alsbury was suspended. And there's a lot of national media that's coming down on this decision. And, Gus, quite honestly, I don't know how to react to that. He did get suspended. You admitted guilt. You admitted guilt when that went down. If you remember in 2021, the Hush Blackwell report, the whole Title IX of allegedly covering up things. I mean, there are people attacking this. The current situation for AD is a little bit more rockier than I think maybe the coaching search is. Josh Brooks, the AD of Georgia, came out with a statement. I have not talked to anybody at LSU. I love my time at Georgia. He can say all that, but I am telling you right now, sources, if that's where you want to go, LSU don't give a shit. They're still going to go after him. JRTs, Heath Schroyer. Those are names that you need to know. I do think that there have been, since this opening has happened, as normally what would happen at LSU when an AD position opens up, there have been some people coming out of the woodwork and peeking their eyes in. I do think the current situation without a president has scared some people off from an athletic department standpoint. ADs are not coaches. They're not. They don't like when politics play a massive role in this, and the governor can pretty much politically use persuasion and do what he needs to do from an authoritarian standpoint to get you out of there. It doesn't make people feel good. I do think Verge is going to be in the running for this gig. There is a lot of political heat coming down that he was only named the interim. Guys, I've seen at least 9 articles about it today from national media about, well, didn't you suspend this guy for a whole year for covering up Title IX issues? Guys, you did. So as we continue along this search, there are going to be names that are flying out there right now. None of it's definitive. I wrap this up by saying LSU's not going to make a move without a sitting president. Do I think conversations have already been had with who people believe is going to be the sitting president of your university? Yes. But they're not making massive moves without him because he's got to sign off on that. So I've been sent a lot of things. I heard this was going on. I heard that was going on. No, you didn't. You read it somewhere on Tiger Droppings, or some guy who maybe had a source one time told you something. It's not happened yet. It's not happened yet. We are all very much concerned and worried and wanting to have all of these situations happen. I'm with you there. I'm right there with you. Nothing's changed. I do think that they're going after some of the top name guys in the sport. I do. And I do think that those conversations over the next 10 days are about to massively start heating up for you. I think that they have a very good idea about the money that they're wanting to spend. I think they have a really good idea of an incentive-related thing that they want to add into there. And by the way, there are some conversations behind closed doors that I have heard that in the contract of the new head coach, that there's a minimum part of NIL that LSU wants to get to, meaning like, hey, head coach of LSU football has got to have a minimum of $25 million of NIL to work with. Those are conversations from big money people that want that in there for this place to succeed, that they want it to succeed. And I'm completely okay with that. Completely okay with that. I can only say this so much. The new president's going to really factor into here where you're going. I personally, if you're asking me right now today, I'm asking Lane Kiffin every single thing that he wants. That's my opinion, not a fact. It's an opinion of who I would go after. But I think there's a lot of hungry coaches that I hear from around the sport that have been asking, hey, man, that job's open. What's going on? What's happening at LSU? I see the governor doing some crazy-ass things, but what actually is going on? Let me tell you one thing that I've learned in this business from a very, very high level, or I say very, very high level, but one thing that I've learned in the business that I'm in is that coaches love the gossip. Boy, do they love the gossip. They love to talk. It's their venting session. It's how they relieve stress, because media is really the only people that they can really talk to without politically behind the scenes, without a former or a colleague trying to use the information that they talk about to stab them in the back. There are coaches around the country that are very intrigued by this place because why wouldn't they be? But I think even in some of the circus and chaos, as this is going to start clearing on Tuesday, your president's going to play a massive factor in it, and let's see how it goes. So I know you want to hear it. You want it now, but guys, you got to prepare for the long haul here. You're not even remotely close. You're not remotely close to being where you're going to be here. Again, do I think that you're going to start turning up the heat coming within the next 10 days as this starts picking up and every single day it starts picking up? Yeah. And I think your president's going to start making phone calls as early as Wednesday. Hey, Jimmy, get your big behind in my office today. What do people want? Where are we at? What is their overall status? It's going to happen. The one thing that I feel confident in is tomorrow around 7 p.m. Central Standard. Actually, I put a mortgage payment on it. The one thing I feel very confident in tomorrow, this thing's about to start skyrocketing of where you want to go. And we'll see. We'll see. You know, one thing we hadn't talked about too, I think the second biggest hire in all of this is everybody's like, well, hey, who's the head coach? Who's this? Who's that? How's all this going to transpire? The strength and conditioning coach is the second biggest hire in all of this. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's going to be interesting to see where LSU goes here. So that is what I'm hearing over the weekend. A lot of things being – so to wrap this all up in a bow, LSU is lining themselves up for the attack. You know, I had it explained to me this way. The way that it was explained to me is like when you're in the military and you're game planning for where you're about to go and how you're about to attack, this ship being put over here, this submarine going now and going here, you're positioning yourself here, 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 and here. The way that I understand of what LSU is doing right now and preparing for this head coaching search is they're game planning on how they want to attack. I hope that all of the people that are involved in this do what they need to do. Don't do something that you're not supposed to do. Everybody working in the same direction. Come tomorrow, come Wednesday, we're going to start really hearing where this thing's going to go. You know, one thing that I do remember, there was a lot of reports out there in reference to, you know, when Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly left for USC and LSU. You know, I remember like maybe it was Jake Crane at Crane & Company came out and said, hey, I'm hearing that there's a 10-year, $100 million deal on the table for Lincoln Riley to go to LSU. For Brian, you know, he didn't say Brian Kelly, but ultimately that's what basically Brian Kelly got. Because the day that came out was right around the 5th of November. You're going to be battling against Penn State. You're going to be battling against Florida. Because you're in the month of November when all these moves want to be made. It's going to be interesting to see with an expanded playoff here how this thing works. The only thing that I'm confident in, this is the only thing that I know for sure that I'm confident in at the current moment. The only thing that I'm confident in the current moment when it regards to LSU's coaching search or anybody's coaching search that's out there, if you don't have a coach at the end of November, maybe early December, maybe in the first 3 to 4 or 5 days in December, the coach that you're targeting or the coach that accepted your position is in the playoffs. Meaning, if it's December the 7th and LSU doesn't have a head coach, well, the God's honest truth is your head coach in the playoffs? Is the guy that's going to be the next head coach of LSU in the playoffs? Because that's what it feels like to me. Either one of two things are going to happen. Either a guy like Eli Drinkwitz, who's probably not going to make the playoff, goes to Florida, Penn State, LSU, wherever in the hell he goes. Well, that's probably going to happen at the end of November. But one of those schools, one of these big schools like Auburn, LSU, Penn State, whoever, one of these schools is not going to pull the plug and not going to have a hire when the playoffs are going on. I'm fully convinced of that. Because one of those guys are going to those big positions. What is LSU doing? Well, I'll tell you on the 3rd of November, well, that means that their head coach is probably still coaching and they don't want him to be out anywhere. That's what I know. All right. Let's do this. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll start breaking down a little bit of this game. We'll take your thoughts, questions, concerns, and I'm sure a lot of you want to talk about the coaching search. We'll get to that next. Stay with us. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top. Hey, Southwest Louisiana, are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat, go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
We're back.
I just got sent 3 text messages during the last segment. Hey, man, Nick Saban, next head coach, right? He very well may be. But my goodness gracious, guys. I mean, all on Tiger droppings, I guess. Dandruff galore. Who really knows here? Let's get to this very quickly before we get to all your super chats, thoughts, questions, concerns. If you have thoughts, questions, concerns, there's only a couple things I ask you to do. Hit that subscribe button for me. If you're down below or if you're on YouTube, like 60% of you still haven't subscribed. All I ask you, hit that subscribe button. That's all you got to do here. Hit that subscribe button down below. The other thing that you need to know is every AYS show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. The odds, LSU minus 7.5 going into Tuscaloosa. Kind of thought it'd be a little bit bigger than that. But going into Tuscaloosa, if you want to place that bet, there's only one place to do it. We're good friends over at FanDuel. Any thoughts, questions, concerns, go to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. But we're greatly honored to have FanDuel a part of us here. Or you can send in a super chat, and we'll get to your thoughts, questions, and concerns here. Let me get to this because we do need to kind of talk about the game. We actually do have games that are going on here. and LSU takes on Alabama. You know, this one's got a little bit of a not so much LSU Alabama juice here. So as we all know, it's Bama week. So normally when we talk about Bama week, it's a much bigger ordeal, and I still think it's a massive ordeal. I don't want LSU going into Tuscaloosa and losing this game any more than you do. We still have games. Let's go play them. I know that we're in the middle of the coaching search. Maybe Nick Saban says, well, maybe I can go and finish where I started at LSU. For all I know, I don't know. What do we need to expect from LSU when it comes to going in this week against Alabama? You know, I think about LSU offensively, and I say to myself, I don't think that we have any idea what to expect from them. Frank Wilson met with the media today, and he met with the media last week. And one thing that he's been very much abundantly clear on is that we're going to go out there and run the football. Well, sounds good. You don't have Tyree Adams. Carius Kern might not be able to go. And all of that, the one thing that Frank Wilson has definitely pounded the table on the last, week, really, when he's met with the media from an offensive perspective, is that we want to run the ball. Today, I do think that he took a pretty massive shot at Joe Sloan. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it was definitely a shot at Joe Sloan, and he wasn't wrong, saying, listen, there were way too many games like the last time we played that we got away from the run game because of circumstances. And guys, quite honestly, they did. But I've seen a lot of you talk about this over the last couple of weeks, like, man, we can't run the ball. We only had 60 yards rushing. Well, Gary Nussmeier got sacked a lot, and he's not mobile enough to do what he needs to do to get out of pressure. Now, if you ask me, I would take a look at Michael Van Buren, and God's honest truth, I'd start him. Because over the last 3 weeks, you have been in a situation where your running backs have run the football on an average exactly at 6 yards a carry. I've been screaming this from the rafters, even with DJ Chester in the lineup at left tackle, for what that's worth. Guys, I love the pursuit that Frank Wilson's going after here, and you have a running backs coach and a former offensive lineman. They're going to want to go into Tuscaloosa and run the football. Now, Blake, Alabama's a really good team. They are. But one massive weakness that this Alabama team has had this year, because they're 72nd in the country in run defense. There have been moments and times where they have been very leaky in their front seven. Now, has your offensive line been great? No, it hasn't been. I do think that you have a massive issue at left tackle. But you're going to have to start explaining to me when you went up against the 23rd ranked run defense, when you went up against the 31st run defense, and when you went up against the 18th run defense. And then last time that you played, when you went up against Texas A&M, you went up against the 34th ranked run defense. And on all of those games, your running backs are averaging over 6 yards a carry. Now you're going up against an Alabama team who, guys, they have had a very tough month. South Carolina, they had to find a way to win on the road. Before that, they had 4 straight ranked opponents that they had to play, and they go 4-0 in that stretch. It's been a tough stretch for Alabama and probably a massive bye week for them this past week. They're a very good team, by the way, coming out of a bye game, has Kalen DeBoer in just his tenure as a head coach. One thing that teams like South Carolina, Vanderbilt in moments and times, and Missouri, they were able to run the ball, and they got away from it. Vanderbilt got away from handing the ball off to Alexander. Missouri got away from handing off the ball to Ahmad Hardy and Roberts, so on and so forth, just the same way that you got away from handing the ball off last week or 2 weeks ago to Harlan Berry, which by far should have never happened. Joe Sloan should have never panicked. He did, and your quarterback couldn't overcome the situation that he was in. Guys, you've been able to run the ball pretty effectively. You have 2 really good backs that you're going to have to find a way with. And when I look at this offense with a former offensive lineman and a running backs coach as your interim head coach, I think you're going to try it. DJ Chester starting at left tackle worries me. What is going to be the status of Carius Kern? I don't know. I pray to God that Carius Kern can go. I don't think DJ Chester is going to be able to do much, if really anything, to be able to protect against LT Overton, who's a really good edge defender. But the bottom line remains one thing for me. I think that you're going to be able to run the football against Alabama. 2 weeks ago on a Thursday, I talked about the keys to victory against Texas A&M. That your biggest strength and the biggest thing that you had to do was suffocate the time of possession. Do not give the ball back to them. Exactly what you did in the first half. You made quick, easy throws for Garrett Nussmeier. You didn't really do in the second half. You ran the football very effectively. You didn't do that in the second half. I completely believe that you're going to be a completely different team offensively, just from a play calling standpoint, and Alabama has absolutely no idea what you're coming with. They don't know what to expect, and it is in your advantage. I don't know if you can go into Alabama and win. Quite frankly, if you ask me right now who wins, I would pick Alabama. I know you don't want to hear that. I don't want to say that. It is the truth. I'm not going to lie to you of where I think it would go here. If you have any shot, you got to do what Frank Wilson's saying. You got to. You don't have a choice, especially if you're starting Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. I do think Michael Van Buren gives you the best chance to win. I think it's been past time that you give him the opportunity. And I hate that Michael Van Buren, if he does ultimately start here, I don't know if he does or doesn't. If he ultimately starts here, I don't think it's fair and you should bail on him on the first sign of mistakes. But the bottom line remains here is that you need to find ways to run the football against Alabama. It is their biggest weakness. Guys, every statistical category I have right here on this handy-dandy notebook that Alabama does. And right here is everything that they do that is of significance. Every single thing that they do. The worst thing that they've done all year, by far, outside of committing dumb penalties, the worst thing that they do from a statistical analysis standpoint is defend the run. Michael Van Buren gives you that best chance and that best ability. But your running backs have been averaging 6 yards a carry the last month. It's going to be interesting to see what LSU does here. I think you have an opportunity. You can keep this game close. Ty Simpson, for what it's worth, has been everything, and I've been waiting to say this for a month now. And if anybody that watches AYS other than during a coaching search, you know this. I already said it once. It just wasn't on my show. Ty Simpson's been everything that we thought Garrett Nussmeier would be. Quite frankly. He's not a mobile quarterback. And Blake Baker's got to send the heat this week. Whether it be Missouri, whether it be a couple of weeks ago against South Carolina, when those teams started sending pressure after Ty Simpson, he fumbled the ball twice. And those teams were able to get the football. Not facing a mobile quarterback actually makes me feel a little confident that this defense can do some really good things. You better do it. I had no idea what to expect with the governor off, not Landry, but the governor you'd find like on a four-wheeler or golf cart. You know what I'm saying. Most of you know what I'm saying. With the training wheels off, let's just go that route. With the training wheels off, what does Blake Baker look like? What did Brian Kelly do from a game plan standpoint that Blake Baker probably wasn't able to do? You got to send the heat. You want your swagger back? Go for broke. Go for broke. Stop sitting back. I love Blake Baker, but he got way too passive the last month. I keep hearing Brian Kelly and I keep hearing Frank Wilson saying this defense got to get their swagger back. Yeah, well, stop sitting on your heels. I'd rather you go out there and be as aggressive as all hell. Go after their ass. You can get home to Ty Simpson. One thing that is very apparently clear to me, this offensive line for Alabama is not a bad one at all. It's not a bad unit at all because they will give up pressure. If you send it, they will give it up. And he's not mobile enough to get out of it. Do what you got to do to get 15 on the ground. You're going to have to suffocate that time of possession. It's the worst thing that they do. Are you going to be able to do it? It's going to be the biggest question here. All right. Everyone, do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share it to all those groups if you're on Facebook. And subscribe if you're on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it. All right. Let's get to some of these Super Chats before we get out of here. Mr. Terps with a $5 Super Chat says, Blake, name 3 offensive coordinators or DCs LSU can go out and get for a head coach. LSU can go out and get for a head coach. So, in no specific order here, I think people would talk about Kelvin Shepherd, Joe Brady. Those would be the two that people would talk about the most because of the LSU connection here. Even though Joe Brady came out in a press conference years ago and said he hated recruiting, which I don't blame him. Guys, I really like Colin Klein a lot. I think when you hear guys like Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver at A&M, saying that, look, man, that Colin Klein sold him the best on what he could make him, along with Mario Craver. I think if you give Colin Klein the pieces, man, he could really dial it up. I haven't thought about coordinators. I like Kirby Moore a lot. I like him a hell of a lot. I know he's not a coordinator. I like Eric Morris a lot. I like Alex Golesh. He's not a coordinator either, but if you're just talking about G5, I'd have to think about coordinators around the country. But I really like Colin Klein a lot. I really do. If you're asking me for a coordinator, either one of those three, really. I hadn't thought about it that much. Maybe I'll think about it a little bit more. But yeah, Colin Klein would be one of the top names that I'd go after. JV Curry with a $5 super chat says, defensive coordinator has to ask for physicality, game situation drills for inside run one-on-ones. Question is, where has this been? All right. Let's go through this here. So a couple of things. Number one, I'm not saying that this didn't happen during the season because it sounds as if that it didn't happen during the season. I don't know if LSU practices the way that like a Georgia does. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Here's the truth. I've been to a lot of them. Not in season because nobody was allowed media-wise in season. Guys, I went to 20 practices or 17 practices. 13, I think, during the spring, and then 17 during the fall. So about 30 practices here. They went one-on-ones all the time. Listen, a lot of people are making excuses on this staff. That's bullshit. There's a lot of things you can blame Brian Kelly on. A lot. Some of this shit's excuses. I got to be real for Baker and this staff. The inside run game was not the reason you've lost the last couple of weeks. Hold the hell on. Running backs have not been blistering your ass. Mobile quarterbacks have been blistering your ass, which is a Blake Baker problem. Jane Daniels, years ago, God bless Jane Daniels, by the way. Hope he's healthy. Hope he stays okay. You went up there and put half 100 on his ass. I don't want to hear, brother, I got to be real with you. I don't want to hear that. Now, if that's the problem in season, normally most teams go scout team. That happens all around the country. You want to get the physical run game, by all means, go and do it. But not having it at practice is not the reason you've been getting your teeth kicked in. Harold Perkins was out of position, and Marcel Reed ran for 41 yards and a touchdown. It's a broken play. They ain't got shit to do with the inside zone run game. JV Curry, this isn't on you, my brother. It's not. I think there's a lot of excuses being made. Look, there's a lot of things that I'll come down on Brian Kelly with. A lot. The former player thing really drives me nuts. It really drives me insane. Brian Kelly didn't let former – I've seen a lot of them. Brian Kelly didn't let former players – guys, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I saw one of the Ferguson brothers saying former players weren't allowed in the weight room. That's also bullshit. When we were at practice, we went from the indoor facility and to go outside. When they were practicing in the indoor, then they went outdoors, so we went through the weight room. Okay? I went through there. There was 3 former players that were working out in there. Now, I don't know if he just had specific stuff going on. I don't know. Maybe he told some guys yes, some guys no. I don't know. I don't know what happened with Jake Flint. I can only tell you what I've seen with my own eyes. That's bullshit. You can put a lot on Brian Kelly, but some of this shit that they're lying about, I got to be honest, is complete BS, and we're better than that. We're better than that. I've seen it with my own eyes, man. I seen it. Come on, man. Come on, man. Drew with a $10 super chat says, just supporting the show, loving the win bar. Oh, this is Drew Samaha. Drew was up in the mountains. I saw him with his beautiful family. Drew, I love you, man. Yes, Drew, unfortunately, we did the drawing, if you remember, last spring to help raise funds for NIL. I guess I could say how much it was. It was a lot of money that we raised. Drew got a signed Brian Kelly win bar. We had orchestrated that, and he was in the raffle. We did it live on the show, and he won it. Love you, Drew, man. Thank you for being here. Stephen Young with a $5 super chat says, no, I like Shep because he's a leader of men. You have staff already at LSU who can recruit, fundraise, all of that. Do you? Do you? Stephen, I'm sorry, but LSU is the only place that wants former players and former people that have been here that have no head coaching experience. You want them to keep the staff? Brother, BK is not the only reason this staff sucked. It's not the only reason that you lost. I mean, guys, quite honestly, being completely blunt with you, they have missed in recruiting. Some of these guys that you've recruited along the offensive line have missed. Steven, the Kelvin Shepherd thing, you're going to have to get past, brother. If that's the top guy that you're going after, by all means, he might be a great head coach. You don't know how he recruits. You don't know how he orchestrates the staff. Y'all are, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm not going there. I'm not going there with you. If you're going to go Kelvin Shepherd, I'd rather Frank. Dane Bergeron with a $5 super chat says, if LSU wants a former player as head coach, go get Brandon Taylor and Blake as AD. They can't afford us. He says, I'll take you both all duck hunting and work out the contracts. Well, we can do that now, but you can't afford us right now. Can't afford us. I wonder if BT would do it. He'd probably do it. But all the free duck hunting, I'd definitely do it. Stephen Young says, there are 10-plus college football P4 head coaching openings, and LSU isn't getting a proven college head coach with an incentive-laden contract. Don't be delusional. You're not getting Kelvin Shepherd with it either. And by the way, if Detroit goes into the playoffs and they're in the playoffs in mid-January, you're going to wait? Are you going to wait? Are they going to make an announcement saying, hey, he's going to be the head coach? What are you going to do there? What are you going to do there? Steven, I think there's a lot of other – again, I'd rather go Frank before I go Kelvin Shepherd. I'm going to keep saying it. Win, lose, or draws for Frank, I'd rather go there because I know that Frank can have the stability that I don't think Kelvin Shepherd coming in here – brother, he's learning on the job, and LSU's not a place to learn on the job. He's a first-time DC. Man, y'all are making me say stuff that I don't want to say about Kelvin Shepherd because I think he is a great coach. But y'all are making me say things I don't want to say either. Shaquan with a $20 super chat says, what world do we live in that we switch to a 12-team playoff and LSU doesn't make it year 1 or 2? I know BK said the whole keep receipts, but I wasn't even expecting a championship, but at least make the playoffs. I agree. They went for broke and they broke. They went for broke and they got broke. You got to make the playoffs here. I'm not expecting a national title every year, but you better make the playoffs at least every other year. Like that's not even a debate here. Not even a debate. Shaquan, I completely agree with you. He also sends a $5 one. Says, by the way, I got a wedding on Saturday. Don't go. We got to stop doing this. Wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I don't go. You know, my wife, one of her really good friends got married during the Alabama LSU game. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. I didn't go. I ain't going. Shit. You better not schedule. You better be a very, 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 very close friend or family I ain't going. I'm not going. Drew Boudreaux became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Drew. We greatly appreciate you joining the channel here. Tiger Bay 24 says, has Frank Wilson said anything about the game plan to attack Bama? I hope we see more balanced offense, and run the damn football. All he said is basically that they want to run the ball. And I think that you can. I mean, guys, I think that you can. Now, maybe LSU starts having more issues. DJ Chester, I mean, I don't know. But right now, I mean, you've had a lot of success with Harlan Berry, and I think you need to give, like, for an example, Frank said today that we cannot run the ball only 20 times, and I agree with him. Joe Sloan panicked. He panicked. He constantly panicked. And his panicking of not being guys, here's the thing. Joe Sloan was a first-time play caller, and it didn't work. It didn't work. I don't want to it's a massive jump to be the LSU head coach, man. That's neither here nor there. But I mean, he just constantly got away from the run game because he doesn't understand it. He's never understood it. And that's not a shot at him, but it's the truth. He never understood it. Tiger Bay 24 with a $10 super chat says, Blake, can our defense rally and slow down Bama's passing attack? I think if the D-line can pressure the quarterback and don't give him a deep pass, we have a legit chance. We still really have a really good team. Yeah, I do think that this matchup is a lot easier for you in some ways because Ty Simpson doesn't run like that. You got to get pressure after him. You do. And ironically, I like your DB room. I do. They're going to have to hold up. And I think that they can, but you're going to have to send the pressure. I do not like how passive we've been defensively. Like the last month, we've been so passive because we're so scared of running after a mobile quarterback. I don't get the philosophy there. That's on Blake. They've been way too passive. Way too passive. They better not be passive this week. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, money has zeroed in on these six. Order of who the most money is theoretically behind. Lanning, Kiffin, Heupel, Elko, Drinkwitz, Jeff Brom. I think Lanning's out. I think LSU kicked the tires on that, and I'm pretty sure they're out. So the other five, there you go. I wouldn't hate any of those. I wouldn't really hate any of those, to be blunt with you. I don't know. I don't understand the Elko thing. Why would Elko come here? It makes no sense. They got more money than we do. They do. Don't act like they don't. And they got a firm recruiting ground. He's winning at A&M. Elko's not coming here if they make the playoffs. It's not happening. It's not happening. Frank, I don't care what you say. I don't see it. It's not happening. Stephen Young says, don't advocate for Klein when Shepard is an option. Stephen, I was asked a question about coordinators. He told me to give 3 offensive coordinators and 3 defensive coordinators. The first 2 names that I said was Kelvin Shepard and Joe Brady. I've also seen the man recruit. I also saw a head coach that made him bench his quarterback, so then he left and went to A&M. His quarterback went to Ohio State and won a national title. You want Kelvin Shepard. We all get it, buddy. You're sending a shitload of money in here because you want Kelvin Shepard. Go give that money to LSU and tell them to go give Kelvin Shepard. I was asked a question. I'm not going after him. Stephen, I got to be real with you. I love you to death. I don't think that you listen. Someone asked me a question of coordinators you go after. I gave Joe Brady, Kelvin Shepard, and Colin Klein. I said maybe Kirby Moore. Can't even ask a question without y'all freaking out. Let me answer this one. You have no business advocating for Klein. Did you fucking listen? I'm not trying to be rude, but did you listen? I'm asked a question. I will go clip it for you and send it to you. Who are three coordinators? I said Kelvin Shepard, Joe Brady, and Colin Klein. And I didn't advocate for any three of them. Thank you for the money, though. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, I'd be stunned if one of these six isn't LSU's head coach. My confidence level's at 90%. Well, it's a lot, but there's always randomness at 10%. I don't think Elko's coming. I don't think Elko. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm not advocating for Colin Klein. I'm going to ask a question, can't even answer it without y'all freaking out because players want Kelvin Shepard. Because there are a lot of really good coaches that are out there that will come here that aren't named him. Just because players are advocating for it doesn't mean you come in here and say that you should. Answer me this. What is he doing recruiting? Oh, well, all you got to do is get money. No, you don't. Frank Castle, I mean, a lot of it is money, but the relationship's got to be there too. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, LSU started flirting with Josh, quote unquote, hiring full fallback and maybe force Lane's ego to make quicker decisions. Some seem to assume it has worked. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I hadn't heard that. I think the Josh Heupel thing's a little fugazi, if you ask me. JV Curry 7, at least right now, with a $5 super chat says, it's all good, brother. That's why I asked. Because I knew you've been to some practices. Haven't been to any during the season. But I mean, I'm just going based off of Frank's words, my man. You know what I mean? That's basically what he said. That's basically what he said, and I think he's right. I think that's what you got to do. Frank says the Saban talk doesn't carry the smoke. The other six do. Could always change. The sensible money mouths are spewing those six names religiously. Maybe they are. Wouldn't hate any of them, really. Frank Castle with a $10 super chat. Before we get out of here, it's going to be funny for me when people realize LSU is, in fact, going to hire a biggish named coach. Inside joke for me to laugh at. Premature panic is just that. It's premature panic. Very well could be. Very well could be. I mean, listen, Frank, you got to understand this could go in not LSU's favor. There's always that possibility. Even you said it's a 10% chance. Even if it's a 10% chance, it's still that way. I don't think you're getting a guy like Mike Elko. Why would he leave? Why? It makes no sense. I mean, maybe because, well, Blake, it's Texas A&M. Yeah, I get it, but I mean, he's built that place in 2 years. And here's the truth. Elko's about to get a massive contract extension to not leave. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Not at all. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Are y'all laughing because I cursed and got upset? But it's the truth. I mean, guys, listen. You guys have got to listen. I'm asked a question. Someone sends in money. Blake, who are some offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators you go after? Kelvin Shepard, Joe Brady, and I say Colin Klein. How is that me advocating? Someone in the chat tell me how I'm advocating for Colin Klein when I'm asked a question of coordinators. Someone's got to tell me. Someone's got to tell me. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, goodness gracious. Ex-Cajun says, what about Cliff Kingsbury? A lot of people have been saying Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think Jane Daniels would want you to have Cliff Kingsbury right now. Not that he's been a good OC, but I mean, things have not gone good there. I'm not going Cliff Kingsbury at all. All right. See you tomorrow. Peace.